Lord, folks. This summer is going to be a long one. With everything else in society, the heat is not taking a break. It's already 90 degrees at about 9 o'clock this morning as 0823 comes down the hill. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Rails. Here's just a random video that I'm going to throw together of a day that me and my friend Stetson took to railfan the CSX system in our part of Florida. We start midway north on the Palmetto sub as 0823 with empty juice and one loaded covered hopper, running roughly 3 hours late, rush toward Bradenton southbound. Since this is June 23rd, 2020, only a couple days after our last outing, I could have always thrown it on the end of my most recent video, but I wasn't going to because it was already 17 minutes long after editing it, but I still hope you like this video. From here we would proceed to chase 0823 down to Bradenton. Another reason for us chasing 0823 this morning was the duo of AC 4400 locomotives that he had as power this morning. But some good news. From what I've heard, some of the CSX-9 wide caps have been returned to the active roster and taken out of storage. Though, not many, because the only ones they've returned are the ones that are perfectly operational with no issues. The -8s, however, I'm pretty sure they're done for good. So, any -9s that you do see out there, be sure to get some good shots of them, because they're not going to be around for much longer. We have now rolled up to Riverwalk, and there are a lot of kids here. They're about to scream their heads off because the juice train is coming. God forbid it's inbound. 3 hours late because they couldn't get a crew for it. Hey, I'm not complaining. And this is Riverwalk when kids see a train coming. Kids going sicko mode at Riverwalk be like. Have all kids back there. Holy crap. That's crazy. During this time lapse of the Big Manatee drawbridge lowering for the train, we can explain this process a little bit more. Train Q045, which currently runs from Waycross, Georgia with mixed freight traffic and picks up intermodal at Jacksonville and runs to Tampa with it, gets to Tampa around midnight each night. Between then and when the juice train crew goes on duty at about 4:30 in the morning, they sort through 045's consist and pick out the cars destined for Bradenton, empty Tropicana reefers and mixed freight cars. Usually that's all said and done, and 0823 has made his southbound trip and arrived in Bradenton by usually 6 or 8 a.m. But apparently today they couldn't get a crew for this train, so it would be another 3 hours before the crew would actually come on duty, putting the train across the Big Manatee River at 10:40 a.m. But hey, was definitely really cool to see. We don't get to chase the southbound juice train too often because of how early it runs, but to see this here was really cool. 0823 does everything on one shift, from Tampa to Bradenton, picking up loads and taking it all back to Tampa, all done within 12 hours. Sometimes just barely, but all done in 12 hours. Riverwalk is also a pretty big attraction in Bradenton, going all up along the Big Manatee River for sightseers and tourists or even residents. But right next to the crossing here, there's a big playground where a bunch of these kids were playing, and as soon as they saw that train, they screamed their heads off. And I mean they screamed their heads off.
I can't believe I ran!
this point, we would take a little break from the high iron, but later this afternoon, we'd be back up in Zephyr Hills for a southbound chase. It was just after 4 p.m. at Jerry Road, just south of Zephyr Hills, when K42318 rounded the corner, speeding our way. Yes sirree, that's it. Another chase of Tampa's as-needed haul of ethanol. That's an ethanol train that's going to Tampa. And we're gonna chase it. And here's the founding reason as to why, when the train's times line up right, trains are required to meet at Plant City siding. We're chasing the ethanol train as normal, right? Well, bam. These random trains of covered hoppers that have just been shoved in the siding at nights for extended periods of time. I mean, this train has been here for like 5 months now. There's no power or EOT on either end, so I have no idea what they plan on doing with these cars, but it blocks the siding, so Plant City is the only siding left, causing dispatchers to make Plant City siding meets when necessary. And after the short southward chase, we get the train one last time in downtown Plant City. Well, sorta. And after over 4 days on the rails, K42318 would make it to Tampa in about 20 minutes from now. Thanks for joining us on this little day out rail fanning, and I'll see you next time out here on the Sunshine State Rails.